gather additional data from the application of those guidelines, are we seeing any changes in how people are being sentenced across the state?
Sure. I think really Alabama has probably experienced more significant reform in the last 4 years than any other state in America. We are in the midst of one of the nation's largest prison population reductions, and that's going widely unnoticed, not only nationally, but also within the state of Alabama as well. Since October 1st, 2013, which was the effective date of the presumptive guidelines, there are approximately today 4,000 fewer people in prison today than there were less than 4 years ago. That represents over a 15% reduction in the number of prisoners that are housed within the Alabama Department of Corrections. That is very substantial.
That's a staggering number.
It is very staggering.
Is that directly attributable to the use of the presumptive guidelines, or those guidelines that we were just talking about?
It is directly related to the use of the presumptive guidelines.
How do the courts and prosecutors say, how do they see that decrease in the prison populations?
Change is always difficult, whether it's in our criminal justice profession, whether it's in our personal lives. So I think initially there was a lot of skepticism, there was a lot of concern, there was a lot of the world is coming to an end mentality. And then slowly, as this process was implemented, I think people are becoming much more comfortable with it. Once it was such a change in criminal procedure and practice, especially at the local level across the state, that there was a lot of concern initially. I think it has been widely viewed now as a pretty large success. There are still some people that have some concerns. That's why we as a commission are always open to modification. We're always very open to, however, responding to what the Alabama legislature would like us to do. Obviously, with the significant costs and budgetary challenges the state of Alabama has, the Alabama legislature made it clear they did not want to spend more money on the Alabama Department of Corrections. So one of the mechanisms to do that was to safely reduce the prison population without increasing crime across the state of Alabama. And I think we've been able to do both. The prison population is decreasing, yet crime has not skyrocketed across the state.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll do our final segment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Carl Cannon Buick Cadillac GMC Chevrolet. My name is Joshua Salter, and would love to take this opportunity to show you the new 2016 Cadillac SRX. We've got some great promotions going on right now. Would love to help you get into a new car today. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 384-5561 or on my cell at 205-300-8364. Stop out and see us.
Other dealers can't? Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Welcome back to Alabama Justice. We are speaking today with Bennet Wright. Our topic today is sentencing and justice. I know that there's a commission that meets on a regular basis to promulgate thoughts and policy changes for the Sentencing Commission. Tell me about that group.
Sure. The Alabama Sentencing Commission is comprised of judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, criminal justice advocates, the commissioner of the Alabama Department of Corrections, one of the members from the Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles. We have victims advocates. So it is a very large, inclusive body that is comprised of now 21 members.
We would consider all of those people players in the criminal justice system, correct?
They are the major stakeholders in the criminal justice system, from law enforcement, victims advocates, judges, the executive branch, legislative branch. So I think everyone has a seat around the table that needs to have a seat around the table to make these very important decisions.
That can be a pretty difficult job to control those diverse interests. How do you do that?
I think the process of consensus building in anything that can be as emotionally challenging as criminal justice is really tough. However, I think we try to leverage our strength at the commission, that is using data to inform decisions, to really try to ameliorate those challenges. I try to, as the director of the commission, try to give the members of the commission the data and information that they need to make those tough decisions, with always keep reinforcing that we need to follow the numbers, rather than using emotional reactions, gut instincts, that we need to use empirical evidence to really make these tough decisions.
As a member of that commission, I would congratulate you on the job that you do, because you do keep us well centered on the task at hand. Something I'm interested in is what's down the road? What do you see as the future of the commission and some of the things that we're working on, within the next year maybe?
Sure. I think one of the challenges that the commission shares with other entities in the state of Alabama is I don't think the state has used data to inform decisions across all of government. And so I think an existing challenge, and a challenge always is to both have the information ready to make those decisions and continuing to educate policymakers, judges, prosecutors, lawyers about wise ways to continually use that data and information. That is an ongoing educational effort always as well. And so that's one of our biggest challenges, but yet my vision too is I'd like to see the state make more decisions based on empirical information and data, not just in criminal justice, but for virtually every aspect of government, is to, when available, use data to inform decisions.
How difficult is it to keep politics out of this? Because Mike and you were talking a moment ago about the diversity of the players and the stakeholders.
Sure. I think, one of the funny anecdotal stories I tell is that myself and one other person are the only people in the state that have been appointed by Sue Bell Cobb and Roy Moore. And so I think across America, but even in Alabama at this particular time, criminal justice has become largely a bipartisan issue. And so it's really impossible to keep politics out of something like criminal justice. However, I think there is a recognition across all political parties right now that we have to do things better. And I think that both parties are a lot closer together than most people think they are in terms of what needs to happen to improve the criminal justice system.
Very good. How often do you meet?
The Alabama Sentencing Commission meets quarterly. We have a series of subcommittees that meets much more often. And our office, we also spearhead some of the task forces that have been formed by the Alabama legislature and the Alabama governor's office as well, largely relating to data.
You mentioned that we've made such huge progress, 4,000 less being incarcerated in Alabama. Mm-hmm. How big of a problem is overcrowded prisons in Alabama?
Sure. I think it is a huge problem. And even with this historic drop in prison population, we are still vastly overcrowded. There is, unfortunately, in Alabama, due to a multitude of reasons, funding issues, infrastructure reasons, there is no easy answer. And the criminal justice system in Alabama or in any other state, there is no silver bullet. Overcrowding remains an issue that the state has to tackle. That's why we've seen so much in the news about possible prison construction, possible future sentencing reform, prison reform, etc. I think the overcrowded facilities really highlight why we need to be vigilant about maintaining a focus on the criminal justice system.
Bennet, you have some involvement in the national sentencing system. Can you tell us how you are involved there and how that impacts on your job back here in Alabama?
Sure. I think the actual state of Alabama has been viewed as being one of the nation's success stories with criminal justice reform. So we get asked a lot of questions to go out and speak to states and organizations, including the United States Sentencing Commission. Myself and Judge Colquitt, who's the chairman, were asked to come visit with the United States Sentencing Commission about possible things that they could learn from Alabama. And I don't think any of us saw the day when the federal government would be reaching out to Alabama for actually ways to improve their sentencing system.
And that's true.
Yeah, we have a history of conflict between the Alabama and the federal authorities when it comes to sentencing and other criminal justice issues. Let me just say this. Your work is extraordinary. You have made a huge difference for the citizens of Alabama, for those that are caught up in the criminal justice system, and for victims. And on behalf of Mike and me and our law firm and the station, it's really been an honor to be here. Is there anything you'd like to say to the public as we close the show?
I would just like to say that it's very important to educate yourself on the issues, to become involved, and I think that by working together, all of us from all different ends of the spectrum, that we can continue to improve the lives of citizens of Alabama.
Well, we thank you so much for your great historic work.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that's it for tonight. And look forward to seeing you again for another segment and program of Alabama Justice Lawyering Up. Thank you. Welcome to Alabama Justice Lawyering Up. My name is Richard Jaffe, the senior partner in the Birmingham, Alabama law firm of Jaffe, Hanle, Whisonant, and Knight. We are going to explore with you the hottest cases, the most controversial topics of Alabama justice, and we're going to bring to you exciting key players that make our Alabama justice work or not work. We look forward to having you.